नमस्कार. महात्मा गांधी विद्या मंदिर संचलित महाराजा सयाजीराव गायकवाड कला विज्ञान व वाणिज्य महाविद्यालय मालेगाव मसगा महाविद्यालयाचे आदरणीय प्राचार्य डॉक्टर दिनेशजी शिरोडे सर, उपप्राचार्य आमचे मित्र आदरणीय डॉक्टर सी एम निकम सर, सायन्स फॅकल्टी इंचार्ज डॉक्टर के एस आयरे सर, या ठिकाणी उपस्थित असलेले सर्व शिक्षक बंधू आणि भगिनी, आज या ठिकाणी आपण या वेबिनारमध्ये पर्टिक्युलरली केमिस्ट्री या विषयाचा एक एक्सपेरिमेंट करून या ठिकाणी दाखवणार आहे. मी एक्सपेरिमेंटचं नाव आहे टू स्टडी द रिॲक्शन ऑफ मेटल्स झिंक, कॉपर, ॲल्युमिनियम अँड देअर solutions of salts, zinc sulfate, iron sulfate, copper sulfate and aluminum sulfate. Apparatus required for this experiments are, these are the test tubes and this is the test tube stands. We require 4 test tube stands. At the same time we require chemicals like zinc metal. Now see, this is the aluminum metal, pure aluminum metal. This is the zinc metal. This is the iron metal or iron fillings. This is the pure copper fillings, copper metal. Now before taking these metals for this experiment, we have to polish it first. Why it is necessary to polish it? याला पॉलिश का करायचं? पॉलिश करणं का महत्वाचं आहे? कारण त्याची जी ऍक्टिव्हिटी आहे, रिॲक्टिव्हिटी आहे, ही पॉलिश केल्याने वाढते. आता प्रश्न तुम्हाला असा पडेल की ही ऍक्टिव्हिटी वाढते का पॉलिश केल्यानं? सँड पेपरने, विथ हेल्प ऑफ सँड पेपर वी कॅन पॉलिश दिस प्युअर मेटल. आता हे पॉलिश का करायचं? सँड पेपर म्हणजे असा एक खरबडीत पेपर असतो जो भिंतीला आपण पॉलिश करण्यासाठी वापरतो. ते पॉलिश केल्यामुळे काय होतं की वातावरणामध्ये वेगवेगळे हे जे ऑक्सिजन्स आहे, इतर वायू आहेत, याची रिॲक्शन होते ऑक्सिजन बरोबर आणि त्याची ऑक्साईड्स तयार होतात, म्हणजे मेटल ऑक्साईड्स तयार होतात. In order to remove these metal oxides, we are cleaning these pure metals with the help of sandpaper. That's why its reactivity or activity of metal is increased. Now, what is the actual procedure for this experiment? Now, first of all, you clean all the metals with sandpaper and cut into the small pieces like this. Then take 10 ml of test tube. This is the test tube. Take 10 ml of each solution. Each solution means which solution? This is the aluminum sulfate solution. This is the zinc sulfate solution. This is the FeSO4 solution. And this is the copper sulfate solution. Copper sulfate solution means मोरचूद. मोरचूदचं सोल्युशन आहे. हे आता प्रत्येकामध्ये, हे प्रत्येक टेस्ट ट्यूबमध्ये हे सर्व साल्ट सोल्युशन जे आहे, मेटल साल्ट सोल्युशन या ठिकाणी आपण घेणार आहोत. तर प्रथमतः आपण पहिला मेटल घेऊया ॲल्युमिनियम इन कॉपर सल्फेट. ॲल्युमिनियम इन कॉपर सल्फेट. सो दिस इज अ टेस्ट ट्यूब. नाउ विल टेक दी ॲल्युमिनियम फिलिंग्स. दिस इज ॲल्युमिनियम फिलिंग्स. And then add copper sulfate here. This is the copper sulfate. And put this test tube for half an hour. Similarly, you take FeSO4 solution. This is the FeSO4 solution in test tube. And then again add the aluminum metal pieces which we have polished. Shake it. So after adding, shake this so that the reaction will start. If it doesn't undergo at the bottom, then shake this and keep for half an hour. Then again you take the zinc sulfate solution. We have taken zinc sulfate solution and add again this metal. We added aluminum metal in it. We added aluminum metal in it. Lastly, you take the aluminum in aluminum sulfate. So this is the aluminum sulfate solution. In aluminum sulfate solution, we are adding the aluminum. There is no any effect because aluminum metal does not react with its salt, because reactivity of aluminum metal and aluminum sulfate solution is similar. So there is no reaction at all. So likewise this you can do for other metals also. We have added in the first series aluminum in this 4 salt solution. Aluminum in aluminum sulfate, aluminum in zinc sulfate solution, aluminum in FeSO4 ferrous sulfate solution, aluminum in copper sulfate solution. And keep this test tube for half an hour or 1 hour. So within this time, the reaction of metal with salt takes place. So among these 4 salt solution, aluminum metal in its salt solution, there is no reaction at all, because reactivity of aluminum and its salt solution, they are exactly same, nearly same. Similarly, you take zinc metal in copper sulfate solution. So this is the copper sulfate solution, and add zinc metal inside this. So it should be pieces, small pieces. So we have added zinc metal in it. Then zinc in FeSO4. So this is the FeSO4 solution. In this FeSO4 solution, again add zinc metal. Then zinc sulfate solution. In zinc sulfate solution, again you add zinc pure metal, and then zinc in aluminum sulfate. Zinc in aluminum sulfate. So this is zinc metal and this is the aluminum sulfate. Now keep this 4 test tube for half an hour, 1 hour. Then next is third metal, that is the Fe metal. Take first Fe in copper sulfate. So we have taken the copper sulfate solution here, and then add Fe metal. So this is the Fe metal. Shake this and keep it for half or 1 hour. Again take pure Fe metal, then add FeSO4 ferrous sulfate solution, shake it, keep it for half an hour or 1 hour. Again take Fe metal and add Fe in zinc sulfate solution. So this is a zinc sulfate solution. And keep it for, shake it and keep it for half an hour or 1 hour. Then again take Fe. So this is the pure Fe which is polished by sandpaper, and add aluminum sulfate solution and keep it for half an hour or 1 hour. And fourth metal is copper in aluminum sulfate. So take the copper fillings here. Are taking the copper fillings in aluminum sulfate, copper in aluminum sulfate. Okay, now reaction will start. It takes half an hour. Now second, copper in zinc sulfate. So this is the zinc sulfate solution. This is the zinc sulfate solution. And add copper in zinc sulfate solution. Shake it and put it for half an hour, 1 hour. Then take copper in FeSO4. Same metal, we have taken copper and FeSO4 solution. This is the FeSO4 solution, which is greenish in color. Shake it and put it for half an hour, 1 hour. Again take copper in copper sulfate solution. This is the copper metal and this is the copper sulfate solution. Again shake it and keep it for half an hour, 1 hour. So within this time the reaction will take place. Now what are the observations of this? After half an hour we will get the observation. Now we have performed this experiment and kept for 1 hour. After 1 hour, what are the observations observed in this experiment? That observations we will discuss now. Now first test we have discussed here is, we have added aluminum in aluminum sulfate. Now when aluminum is added in aluminum sulfate, what happens? This is the colorless solution of aluminum sulfate. Now this is the aluminum, pure aluminum. This is the polished aluminum by sandpaper. Now we have added aluminum in aluminum sulfate solution. So after 1 hour, what happens? See, this solution remains colorless. That means there is no any reaction at all. म्हणजे याच्यातनं आपल्याला काय ऑब्झर्वेशन्स मिळालं की याची अल्युमिनियम मेटलची रिॲक्शन अल्युमिनियम सल्फेट बरोबर होत नाही. तर प्रश्न येतो का होत नाही? त्याचं कारण असं की जी रिॲक्टिव्हिटी आहे अल्युमिनियम मेटलची आणि अल्युमिनियम सल्फेट सोल्युशनची याची रिॲक्टिव्हिटी जवळजवळ सारखीच आहे, म्हणून ते सोल्युशन आहे तसंच राहतं, कलरलेस. इट ऑल्सो लुक्स कलरलेस. देन सेकंड वन, दिस इज द अल्युमिनियम इन झिंक सल्फेट solution. This is the zinc sulfate solution, right? Now aluminum in zinc sulfate, after 1 hour solution remains colorless. Solution remains colorless. Zinc metal settle at the bottom. If you carefully observe this, zinc metal remains at the bottom of the test tube. That means zinc is displaced by aluminum. In third test tube we have taken aluminum in FeSO4. This is the solution of FeSO4. Now green color of FeSO4. Now see the color of FeSO4. So this is a greenish shade, and this greenish shade of that FeSO4 is disappears here. That means iron metal settles at the bottom. That means Fe is displaced here. Fe is displaced, which settles at the bottom of the test tube. Then aluminum in copper sulfate. Now this is the solution of aluminum in copper sulfate. This is the solution of copper sulfate. Now see the color of this copper sulfate, how it is looks, and see the reaction of aluminum in copper sulfate. So this copper remains at the bottom. That means blue color of copper sulfate disappears and the brown color particles settles at the bottom of the beaker or test tube. Copper is displaced. So copper is displaced at the bottom. So it clearly looks here. Now next one is, we'll keep here, for the zinc metal. In zinc metal, now see, after 1 hour when zinc metal is added in these 4 salt solutions, so this is the zinc metal added in copper sulfate. This is the copper sulfate solution, and this zinc metal we have added initially in this test tube. So solution remains colorless. That means there is no reaction at all. Now in second test tube, zinc in FeSO4. Zinc in FeSO4. Green color of FeSO4 disappears. Green color of FeSO4 disappears. Higher metal is settles at the bottom. Then third one is zinc in zinc sulfate. Zinc in zinc sulfate. So as it is, it remains colorless. Now see, this is the zinc sulfate solution. So this and this remains same. And fourth one is zinc metal in aluminum sulfate. So this is the aluminum sulfate and this is the zinc metal. So after reaction, blue color remains at the bottom. There is no reaction at all. So what it indicates? It indicates that Aluminum replaces the other metal also. Then Fe. Then we will see about Fe. That means iron. So after 1 hour, what happens when iron metal is kept in the aluminum sulfate solution? So in this test tube, we have kept iron metal in copper sulfate solution. Iron metal in copper sulfate. So blue color of copper sulfate disappears here. This is the blue color of copper sulfate. Here after reaction with Fe, so this color disappears. So it clearly observed here. So brown color particles settles at the bottom of the beaker. Copper is displaced here. Second one, Fe in FeSO4. Fe in FeSO4, there is no reaction at all because Fe and FeSO4 reactivity is same. And third one is here, Fe in zinc sulfate, iron metal in zinc sulfate. This is the zinc sulfate solution. Fe in zinc sulfate solution remains as it is. So there is no reaction at all. And last one is Fe in aluminum sulfate. Fe in aluminum sulfate solution remains colorless as it is. So there is no change, no reaction at all. And last one is for copper. This is the test for copper one. Copper in aluminum sulfate. So this is the solution of aluminum sulfate. We have added copper in this aluminum sulfate. So there is no reaction. Solution remains colorless. Then copper in zinc sulfate solution remains colorless. Here copper in FeSO4 solution remains colorless. And copper in copper sulfate solution remains as it is. Now see, this and this are the same, so there is no reaction at all. So why there is no reaction at all? Because the reactivity of metal and its corresponding salt is similarly same, somewhat same. So in this way, these are the observations of these metals with their salt solution. Now what are the conclusion of this experiment? Conclusion of this experiment is that we have to determine the reactivity order of this metal. What is the reactivity order of this metal? So aluminum is more reactive than zinc metal. Zinc metal is more reactive than iron metal, and iron metal is more reactive than copper. So aluminum is highly reactive metal because it has less valence electrons in the outermost shell. So atomic number of aluminum is 13. If you observe the electronic configuration of aluminum, it is 3s2 3p1. So why it is highly reactive? Because it has less valence electron. In 3p orbital, there is only one electron. That's why it is more reactive. Second, while copper is least reactive, while copper metal is least reactive because it has more valence electron. More valence electron means copper has atomic number 29. And in order to complete its octet, copper withdraws one electron or transferred from 4s2 to 4s1, 3d9, so it becomes 3d10, 4s1. So it is a completely filled electronic configuration. That's why copper is least reactive because it has more valence electrons. Similarly, aluminum displaces zinc, copper and Fe from their salt solutions. Zinc displaces copper and Fe from their salt solutions. Fe means iron displaces copper from its salt solution. Copper cannot displace zinc, aluminum or Fe from their salt solution. Now some questions are given in the exercise in the book. I will answer that questions. The proper procedure of the experiment to show that zinc is more reactive than copper is, answer is, prepare zinc sulfate solution and immerse a copper plate in it. Copper is displaced by zinc. Second question is that the solution of aluminum sulfate in water is not clear. Solution of aluminum sulfate in water is not clear. This is not clear because white gelatinous precipitate of aluminum hydroxide is formed. Iron is less reactive than aluminum. The solution of aluminum sulfate in water is colorless. Solution of aluminum sulfate in water is colorless. Which of the following substance is blue in color? Alternatives are copper sulfate, FeSO4, zinc sulfate and aluminum sulfate. Question is, which of the following substances is blue in color? Answer is copper sulfate is blue in color. Now some other questions given in the exercise is that why do all the metal pieces get polished before the experiment? म्हणजे मेटल पीस पॉलिश कशासाठी करायचा असतो? त्याचं कारण असं, टू remove the layer of metal oxide and to prevent rusting of iron, because most of the metal react with oxygen from the environment to form metal oxide, which leads to discontinuity in the circuit, so metal get polished before using it. म्हणजेच काय होतं की मेटल जे आहे ते मेटल वातावरणामध्ये जो ऑक्सिजन असतो त्याच्याबरोबर त्याची रिॲक्शन होते आणि ती रिॲक्शन झाल्यानंतर त्याचं मेटल ऑक्साईड तयार होतं आणि ते मेटल ऑक्साईड तयार झाल्यामुळं त्याचा जो ॲक्टिव्ह सरफेस आहे तो सरफेस ॲक्टिव्ह राहत नाही, म्हणून आपल्याला ते पॉलिश करायचं असतं. उदाहरण घ्यायचं झालं तर आपण पूर्वी घरामध्ये पाण्याची जी पाईपलाईन आहे, अर्धा इंचची जी पाईपलाईन असते, ती पाईपलाईन आपण जमिनीच्या खालून टाकत येतो. जमिनीच्या खालून टाकल्यामुळे जमिनीमध्ये काही मॉइश्चर असतं, ते मॉइश्चर काय करतं, रस्टिंग करतं त्या पाईपचं आणि ते करोजन होतं. करोजन झाल्यामुळे काय मेटल ॲक्टिव्हिटी रिॲक्टिव्हिटी कमी होऊन जाते. Second question, why cannot each metal react to its own salt? For example, copper and copper sulfate. Metal like copper and its metallic salt copper sulfate doesn't have much reactivity level difference between them. That's why they don't react with each other. म्हणजे दोघांची मेटल रिॲक्टिव्हिटी सारखीच आहे, मेटल आणि त्याच्या metal sulfate. So these are the some questions given in the book. Last part of this experiment is how to remember the reactivity series. How to remember the reactivity series. There are simple steps to remember this. Please, I will read this. Please stop calling me a careless zebra. Instead, try learning how copper saves gold. Now, please for potassium, P for potassium. Stop for sodium. Calling means C, calling for calcium. Me for magnesium. A for aluminium. Careless for carbon. Zebra for zinc. Instead for iron, try for tin, learning for lead, copper for copper, saves for silver, gold for gold. That means if we go from top to bottom, reactivity decreases. At the uppermost, that means aluminum is more reactive than zinc, zinc is more reactive than iron, and iron is more reactive than copper. So these are the some observations observed in this experiment. Thank you very much.
Welcome to all of you. Myself, Dr. Narendra Dokhe, Assistant Professor in Chemistry, Maharaja Sayajirao Gaikwad Mahavidyalaya, Malegaon Camp. First of all, I am thankful to our Principal, Dr. D.F. Surre sir and Dr. U.B. Kadam sir to interact with us. Today, we discuss about the one practical of class 10 belong to subject chemistry under the title to observe the following reaction and to classify them into the types of combination and decomposition. Means what? In this practical, we discuss which reaction is called as the combination reaction and which reaction is called as the decomposition reaction and why. Okay, so before discussing the combination and decomposition reaction, first of all we think about the definition of combination and decomposition reaction. So what is the combination reaction? The combination reaction means when two or more substances interact with each other to form only single product is called as the combination reaction. I will repeat again the definition of combination reaction. When two or more substances interact with each other to form only single product is called as the combination reaction. बघा combination reaction कोणाला म्हणायचं? ज्या वेळेस दोन किंवा दोनापेक्षा जास्त सबस्टन्स मग ते सबस्टन्स इलेमेंट असू द्या किंवा कंपाऊंड असू द्या, ते ज्यावेळेस एकमेकांमध्ये इंटरॅक्ट होतील, त्यांची दोघांची एकमेकांमध्ये बरोबर रिॲक्शन होईल, त्यावेळेस फक्त एकच जर प्रॉडक्ट मिळाला तर त्याला आपण म्हणणार आहोत कॉम्बिनेशन रिॲक्शन. आता त्याचं एक्झाम्पल दिलं बघा, कॉम्बिनेशन रिॲक्शन. त्याचं एक एक्झाम्पल देऊ आपण, रिॲक्शन ऑफ वॉटर विथ कॅल्शियम ऑक्साईड. जर वॉटर आणि कॅल्शियम ऑक्साईडची रिॲक्शन झाली तर याला कॉम्बिनेशन रिॲक्शन का म्हणायचं ते आपल्याला बघायचं आहे. याची आपण केमिकल रिॲक्शन घेऊन बघू. केमिकल रिॲक्शन. The reaction in between water and calcium oxide. Calcium oxide having the molecular formula CaO. This is calcium oxide. This calcium oxide it's also called as the lime. त्याचं दुसरं नाव लाईम असं आहे. It reacts with water plus वॉटरचा मॉलिक्युलर फॉर्म्युला आहे H2O. दोघांची फिजिकल स्टेट मेन्शन करतो. कॅल्शियम ऑक्साईड सॉलिड स्टेट, वॉटर इन लिक्विड स्टेट. दोघं एकमेकांबरोबर जर रिॲक्ट झाले, कंबाईन झाले, देर इज द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ कॅल्शियम हायड्रॉक्साईड CaOH twice. This is called as calcium hydroxide. Okay. But after getting the product, the some heat is evolved from this reaction. So this is the chemical reaction for the reaction of water with calcium oxide. The question is why this reaction is called as the combination reaction? Because when two substances, one is calcium oxide, another is water, they are interact with each other. After combining these two substances, we got only single product. It's called as the calcium hydroxide, and we got only single product. So this is the example of combination reaction. But in this reaction, some heat is evolved, and those reaction in which heat is evolved, the reaction is also called as the exothermic reaction. So it is combination reaction as well as the exothermic reaction, and most of the combination reaction are exothermic reaction. So this is the example of the combination reaction. Let us start the experimental activity for the combination reaction. We are already discussed about the combination reaction. Their example is when water combined with the calcium oxide. The requirement for combination reaction is calcium oxide, distilled water. The apparatus used is beaker. Instead of beaker, we use the china dish also, but here we use the beaker. Now let us see the procedure for the combination reaction. Now for the combination reaction, first we take the near about 10 gram of lime in a dry and clean beaker. Okay, so lime, or it is also called as the calcium oxide. Now take this in a beaker. Now after taking, we add little amount of water in a beaker. So this is the distilled water, and we add here. Shake this. Now after shaking, there is the combination between the water and calcium oxide, and there is the formation of calcium hydroxide. This calcium hydroxide, it is also called as the slake lime. बघा, जसं कॅल्शियम ऑक्साईडला आपण लाईम असं म्हणतो, कॅल्शियम ऑक्साईड पाण्यामध्ये टाकल्यानंतर जो प्रॉडक्ट मिळाला आपल्याला कॅल्शियम हायड्रॉक्साईड, त्याला स्लेक लाईम असं देखील म्हटलं जातं. सो दिस इज द स्लेक लाईम. नाव this is the procedure. Now record your observation. So what is the observation? When we touch the beaker, then we observe there is the change in temperature. What is the reason behind them? When calcium oxide vigorously react with water, now during this there is the formation of slake lime. When slake lime or calcium hydroxide is formed, that time large amount of heat is evolved from this reaction, and when the reaction evolve the heat, this is called as the exothermic reaction. So this is the combination reaction as well as the exothermic reaction. Rather than there is a lot of example in the in case of combination reaction as well as the exothermic reaction. When we say in case of combination reaction, burning of coal, when carbon reacts with oxygen, there is the formation of carbon dioxide. This is another example of combination reaction. Or we say hydrogen reacts with oxygen, there is the formation of water molecule. This is also the example of combination reaction. As well as there are some another example for the exothermic reaction, like burning of natural gas. When natural gas burn in air, there is the formation of carbon dioxide and water molecule. Our respiration system is also the example of exothermic reaction. In respiration, carbohydrates are broken down to form glucose, and these glucose reacts with oxygen or combine with oxygen in the cell to produce the energy in our body. Is also the example of exothermic reaction. As well as the decomposition of vegetable matter into the compost is also the example of exothermic reaction. This is another example of exothermic as well as the combination reaction. But in our practical, the lime, that is the calcium oxide, reacts with water is the example of combination as well as the exothermic reaction. The next one, decomposition reaction. So which reaction is called as the decomposition reaction? Now those reaction in which a single substance is split up into two or more substance is called as the decomposition reaction. I repeat again the definition of decomposition reaction. The reaction in which a single substance is split up into two or more substance is called as the decomposition reaction. बघा decomposition reaction आपण कोणाला म्हणतो? जर आपल्याकडे एकच सबस्टन्स असेल आणि त्या एका सबस्टन्स डिकम्पोजिशन होऊन त्याच्यापासून दोन किंवा दोनापेक्षा जास्त सबस्टन्स जर आपल्याला मिळत असतील तर त्याला आपण म्हणणार आहोत डिकम्पोजिशन रिएक्शन. मग आपण त्याचं एक एक्झाम्पल बघू. द एक्झाम्पल फॉर डिकम्पोजिशन रिएक्शन, इफेक्ट ऑफ हीट ऑन फेरस सल्फेट. फेरस सल्फेट जर घेतला आणि त्याला जर हीट दिली तर त्याचं डिकम्पोजिशन होतं की नाही ते बघू. आणि त्याचं जर डिकम्पोजिशन झालं त्याच्यावरून आपण सांगणार आहोत द इफेक्ट ऑफ हीट ऑन फेरस सल्फेट इज द एक्झाम्पल ऑफ डिकम्पोजिशन रिएक्शन. त्याचं आपण केमिकल रिएक्शन बघणार आहोत. सो केमिकल रिएक्शन, फेरस सल्फेटचा मॉलिक्युलर फॉर्म्युला आहे FeSO4 7H2. This is the ferrous sulfate. Now this ferrous sulfate, it is called as the heptahydrate. Heptahydrate म्हणजे काय? त्याच्यामध्ये काय असतात? 7 वॉटर मॉलिक्यूल आहेत. सो इट इज कॉल्ड as the heptahydrous. हायड्रस असतो. Now the compound which contain the water molecule, it is called as the hydrous. So this is the molecular formula of ferrous sulfate. Ferrous sulfate. Now heat the ferrous sulfate. The ferrous sulfate ला heat केला. That time there is the decomposition. हा ferrous sulfate चा molecule का होतो? Split होतो. And after decomposition we got the two compound. One is FeSO4 plus 7H2 in the form of water is evolved in the form of vapors. And here that is only ferrous sulfate. हा मिळाला आपल्याला ferrous sulfate. So what is the difference between this ferrous sulfate and this ferrous sulfate? This is the hydrate and this is the anhydrate. It contains the water molecule, so it is called as the hydrate, hydrous, and this is the anhydrous. And this 7 water molecule, it is called as the water of crystallization. This 7 water molecule is also called as the water of crystallization. So what is the difference between them? There is the color. Now this ferrous sulfate, hydrous ferrous sulfate, having light green in color, but this ferrous sulfate, it do not contain any water molecule. It having white in color. Now this ferrous sulfate, again heat, vigorously heat this ferrous sulfate. That time this ferrous sulfate are again decomposed, and after decomposition you got Fe2O3, that is called as, we say, ferric oxide. ferric oxide. And here two gases are evolved from this ferrous sulfate. One is sulfur dioxide and another one is the sulfur trioxide. Now, but when we observe this reaction, this is the unbalanced reaction, because here Fe is only single atom. Here there are the two atoms are present. So we balance the reaction. For balancing, we multiply by 2 here. So 2 FeSO4. We got Fe2O3 plus SO2 and SO3. So this is the example of decomposition reaction. So what is why this it is called as the decomposition reaction? When we observe, this is the single molecule, and after heating, this single molecule is split up into the different molecules like FeSO4, twice H2, 7H2, Fe2O3, SO2 and the SO3. So this is the example of the decomposition reaction. Now let us start the experimental activity for the decomposition reaction. At the beginning, we are already discussed about the decomposition reaction. What is the decomposition reaction? The reaction in which a single substance split up into the many substances is called as the decomposition reaction. Its example is effect of heat on a ferrous sulfate. Now for this experimental activity, which things are required? First one is ferrous sulfate, then dry and clean test tube, then spatula, test tube holder, litmus paper, etc. These are the requirement for this experiment. Now start the procedure for the decomposition reaction. Now for the decomposition reaction, first we take a dry and clean test tube. This is dry and clean test tube. In dry and clean test tube, we add or we take one spatula ferrous sulfate. This is ferrous sulfate having molecular formula FeSO4 7H2O. Now we observe its name is ferrous sulfate heptahydrate, means it contains the 7 water molecule. It is also called as the water of crystallization. Now take one spatula ferrous sulfate in a dry and clean test tube. And heat this by using the burner. Now we see this ferrous sulfate having color pale green. Now heat this. Now after heating, this ferrous sulfate is decomposed. Decomposed means the FeSO4 7H2O. From this FeSO4 7H2O, the water molecule is removed from this compound, as well as that time the color of this ferrous sulfate it changes from pale green to the white, means compound is converted into the white in color. Now look at the mouth of the test tube. Some steamy vapors are present here, means water is evaporate, means water are removed from this compound, as well as the compound of color is also changed from pale green to the white. Okay, then this compound again strongly heated. That time their further decomposition is proceed, and this white color of the ferrous sulfate is converted into the reddish brown, and we get the compound, it is called as the ferric oxide. That time we observe the two humble gases are removed from the test tube. Look at this mouth of the test tube. The two humble gases are removed from the test tube. These are the sulfur dioxide and the sulfur trioxide, and these gases are acidic in nature, and these acidic in nature we can check by using the litmus paper. We know very well, in case of acid, the blue litmus turns to red. This is the blue litmus paper. Now dip into water and bring at the mouth of test tube. Due to two gases sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide, the blue litmus turns to red. Slowly and slowly, the litmus paper, blue litmus turns to red. Look at this. The color of litmus paper change from blue to the red. So we say that from this ferric oxide as well as sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide is formed, and due to this sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide, the blue litmus turns to red. So we say that these gases are the acidic in nature. Please do not smell this gas, because this gas is having the pungent in smell, and this is the total decomposition reaction. When we observe first, the pale green color of the ferrous sulfate it changes to white, then white color of the ferrous sulfate is converted to the reddish brown. This is the ferric oxide, and there is the two gases are evolved, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. So this is the total experiment of the decomposition reaction, thermal decomposition reaction. Why we say this is the thermal decomposition reaction? Because here ferrous sulfate having the molecular formula FeSO4 7H2, it is converted to FeSO4 and 7H2, and after strong heating, this FeSO4 is converted to the ferric oxide, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. So one single substance is converted to the many substance. So this reaction is called as the decomposition reaction. Thank you.
Hello everyone, myself Professor R.K. Pawar from Department of Chemistry, MHG College, Malegaon Camp, Malegaon. Today we are going to learn some basic experiments of 10th standard. We have selected the experiment number 2nd. It is to identify the chemical reaction by observing the reaction and recording the observations. Now we have to see three types of the reactions. First, it is the combination reaction. Combination of magnesium metal with oxygen and formation of magnesium oxide. Second, it is the reaction of dilute sulfuric acid with zinc metal and formation of hydrogen gas. And third reaction, it is decomposition reaction. When lead nitrate is heated, it is get decomposed into different components. We have to see these three reactions. Now we will introduce about this apparatus, which apparatus we are going to use for our experiments. Now it is the evaporating dish. It is pair of tongue used for hold the equipments. It is the blue litmus paper. It is watch glass. It is spatula. It is the magnesium ribbon. It is test tube holder, and it is a test tube. And these are the chemicals used for the reaction. Now see, it is the hard glass tube. It is a rubber cork, and it is a U-shaped glass tube. Now we will start with the first experiment. It is the combination reaction of magnesium. For that, we will use this magnesium strip. It is the magnesium strip, magnesium metal. When the magnesium is burned in presence of oxygen, then it is get converted into a magnesium oxide, and leaving behind the white powder, it is magnesium oxide. Let's see how this magnesium reacts with oxygen. When it is burned with oxygen, the magnesium burns with luminous flame, leaving behind the white powder, and this white powder is known as magnesium oxide, and the reaction is known as combination reaction. Combination of magnesium metal and oxygen, and formation of this white powder like this. it is converted into the powder form, gives only one product. Simple reaction, combination reaction, it is magnesium oxide. Okay. Now we will see the second experiment. It is the reaction of dilute sulfuric acid with zinc metal. Let's see, it is a zinc powder. We will take a very little quantity of zinc metal in a hard glass tube. We will take a very little quantity of zinc metal. Only this much amount of zinc metal is sufficient. Then we will add dilute H2SO4, dilute sulfuric acid, 2-3 ml of dilute sulfuric acid. Now this reaction is displacement reaction. H2SO4 reacts with zinc metal and it is get converted into zinc sulfate, ZnSO4, and it liberates hydrogen gas. Now this hydrogen gas is highly flammable. When we ignite the hydrogen gas, it burns with blue flame, but this reaction is very dangerous, like a hydrogen bomb. So we should take care while igniting this hydrogen gas. Now you can observe the reaction is going here. Zinc metal reacts with dilute H2SO4. There is effervescence. This effervescence of hydrogen gas. This hydrogen gas is liberated and this hydrogen gas is coming out through this tube. When we ignite at this point with the matchbox, by using matchbox, if we ignite at this point, it will burn with blue flame. But it is dangerous, highly dangerous, so I am not going to ignite it. You can observe the reaction and observe the experimental setup. Okay, it is the second experiment. Now we will go for the third experiment. Third experiment is a simple decomposition experiment. Lead nitrate, PbNO2. Lead nitrate is heated with it is a lead nitrate, it is a white powder. Lead nitrate, white powder. Just we have to heat this lead nitrate, PbNO3 twice. When we heat lead nitrate, it is get decomposed into 3 different products. It is lead oxide, nitrite, NO2 and oxygen. For that we require a litmus paper, blue litmus paper, white litmus paper. When we heat this lead nitrate, evolution of colored, brownish colored nitrate fumes takes place. You can observe evolution of brown colored nitrite NO2 fumes, and you can check by litmus paper by holding it on the vapors. This blue litmus paper is get converted into red, or it becomes red. You can observe this blue brown colored fumes, and also the blue litmus paper changes red. This reaction is known as decomposition reaction. That means the single compound is decomposed into number of different products. Okay? This is the third experiment. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, myself Mr. Kuldeep Padiyar, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, Maharaja Sayajirao Gaikwad College, Malegaon Camp, District Nasik. This experiment is performed for the SSC students under the Science and Technology Chemical Practicals. Today's practical aim is to study the oxidation and reduction reaction of carbon compounds. This experiment is performed in two parts. First part A, oxidation of alcohol, and B part, addition reactions of fatty acids. So let us start first part, oxidation of ethanol. The procedure for this experimental part is take 2 to 3 ml of ethanol in a test tube, then add 5 ml of sodium carbonate solution and warm it. Then add a few drops of dilute solution of potassium permanganate to the warm mixture with constant stirring. And after this, observe the change in the pink color of KMnO4 immediately after its addition started. So after complete the experimental part, we observed some observation. The first observation is when a solution of potassium permanganate is added to ethanol, in the beginning the pink color disappears, and when addition is continued further, the pink color does not vanish but remains as it is. That means your reaction is completed. And the chemical reaction for this experiment is, say, CH3 CH2OH ethanol. When and react with alkaline KMnO4 to formation of the CH3 C double bond OOH ethanoic acid. So in this reaction clearly shows the ethanol is oxidized to formation of the ethanoic acid.
Today we perform the experiment oxidation of ethanol, and we have to need the chemicals is first sodium carbonate Na2CO3, then KMnO4 solution and ethanol. So these are the required chemicals. We first take a ethanol in a test tube. Then add the sodium carbonate is a base and shake it well. So after then we add the KMnO4 solution. Slowly added the KMnO4 solution and simultaneously shake it. See, pink color of KMnO4 is disappeared like that. See, so this addition is continue up to the complete conversion of CH3CH2OH to ethanoic acid. Means it add up to complete the reaction. See, pink color of KMnO4 is disappear also. Okay. See. So at this stage, excess addition of KMnO4, pink color remains as it is. So that means your reaction is completed.
The second part of the experiment is addition reaction of fatty acids. The experimental part is take a 4 ml of oils in a test tube and add 4 drops of tinctures iodine in it. Shake the test tube well and observe the color change of tincture iodine. Repeat the same procedure using other oils and vanaspati ghees. So this procedure is repeated for groundnut oil, sunflower oil, safflower oils and vanaspati ghee also. And after complete this experiment, some observation is observed. See, in observation table, the first oil used is a groundnut oil, and orange brown color of iodine is vanished. So that means the unsaturated organic compound is present. Then second, safflower oil, color is also vanishes. It also shows unsaturated organic compound is present. Third, sunflower oil, it also shows orange brown color of the iodine is vanished, and it is also containing unsaturated organic compound. But in case of Vanaspati ghee last, the color, brown color of the iodine does not vanishes, and it means your compound shows the absence of double bond. So that's why your molecule becomes saturated organic compounds. The chemical reaction. Suppose our oil molecules having the unsaturated compound carbon-carbon double bond react with iodine to formation of the double bond can convert into the single bond. That means unsaturated molecule can convert into the saturated molecules, and this saturated molecule is the colorless product. From this experiment, we conclude the vegetable oils are contain multiple bonds, and they undergoes addition reaction to form the saturated compounds. When iodine solution is added, it reacts with unsaturated molecule of oil to form a saturated complex compound, and the color of iodine is disappears. Thus, iodine gets used up in addition reactions, and the iodine taste indicates the presence of multiple bond in vegetable oils.
So before going to the experimental part, what is the addition reaction? Addition reaction always perform on the carbon-carbon double bond. So in this experiment, we take a different oil solutions. First is the sunflower oils, then this is the safflower oils, this is a groundnut oils, and this is called as the Vanaspati ghee. So we first take a sunflower oil, and then add the iodine solution. The solution of iodine is brown in color. Then add the solution and shake it well. Shake, continuously shaking. See, the brown color of the iodine is vanishes. So that means your sunflower oil containing the carbon-carbon double bond. After this, we take a safflower oil. Same procedure is applied. We add the iodine solution and shake it. Shake it. And same observation, the brown color of the iodine is vanishes. After then, we take a groundnut oil and shake well. And the observation is brown color of the iodine is vanished. And the lastly we add the iodine solution in Vanaspati ghee and stir well. See, brown color of the iodine is remains as it is. So, it shows the color does not vanishes, means Vanaspati ghee does not containing the carbon-carbon double bond. The color is vanishes, that means your iodine is react with carbon-carbon double bond and the breaking of the I2 molecule and the color is vanished. But in case of Vanaspati ghee, double bond is absent, so that's why the color remains as it is of the iodine.